It's Gillian's favorite time of day. It's calm and the light is golden. The undersea never saw the sunset, and Gillian is absolutely enamored by the oranges and purples of the sky. The Riptide captains hold hands, Chip and Jay on opposite sides of Gillian. Gillian's tail sways as he walks down the cobbled streets, and he smiles with his usual toothy grin. He sits down at the fountain in the center of town, admiring the quaint scenery of little pastel-colored shops as Chip and Jay sit beside him. Jay spots some kids lurking in an alleyway, whispering to each other and pointing at Gillian. Gillian doesn't notice, just keeps on chatting with Chip and dipping his tail in the water. Jay turns back and glares at them. They shrink back with wide eyes, but then continue whispering. One kid is shoved forward, out of the darkness of the alleyway and into the golden hour light. The kid freezes when Gillian's eyes land on him, and the other 4 kids giggle from the alleyway. Gillian smiles warmly. The kid comes forward, shaking. Jay sees the other 4 kids watch in anticipation. "Are you, the kid gulps. "A Triton?" Gillian nods and gives him a sharp-toothed grin. "I certainly am." "From the trench?" The kid looks back at his friends. They nod. "And is it true that you eat humans?" Gillian's eyes go wide. "No. Of course not. Where in the world did you hear that?" Chip cuts Gillian off. "Yeah, actually, he does. We're his snacks." He grins and snickers slightly. The kid freezes up and squeaks. "Chip, stop scaring the kid." Jay sighs. "No, he doesn't eat people." "I do not," Gillian confirms with a smile. But Jonas said." The kid backs up and glances back at the other kids in the alley. Gillian looks at them as well, then smiles and beckons them forward. The group of kids, quivering, shuffle forward. "What are all your names?" Gillian asks with a smile. The tallest one steps forward first and scowls. "Jonas." "So you are Jonas?" Gillian nods. "I'm Elliot," the kid who approached Gillian first says. "And that's Ben, David, and Lucille," Jonas states, pointing to each of the other kids. "Oh, lovely names," Gillian smiles. Jonas puffs out his chest, and the rest of the kids quiver. Gillian doesn't seem to pick up on this, however, smiling wider. "I do not eat people, and neither does most of the undersea. But would you like to hear a real scary story?" Gillian asks. The kids nod, breaking out into grins. "Sit," Gillian says, thinking of a story to tell them. Chip and Jay watch with amusement as Gillian begins his story, and the group of kids lean forward with curiosity shining in their eyes. "Have you ever heard of Dugon the Leviathan?" Gillian asks. The kids gasp and lean forward more. "He lives at the bottom of the sea, and he comes up and snatches ships. And he grappled our ship, wrapping all the way around twice." The kids' eyes are wide, and Chip giggles a bit. "He's gonna exaggerate this one, isn't he?" Jay whispers into Chip's ear behind Gillian. Chip nods and watches the kids' faces in anticipation. "Dugon is a gargantuan monstrosity, a mix between fish and serpent." Gillian throws his hands up as if that told the size of the monster. "With 2 rows of sharp teeth and bright glowing eyes." The group of kids watch with some mix of fear and curiosity, leaning back at the mentions of Dugon biting the crew, and leaning forward at the mention of the luxurious pearl. Gillian tells the story with much waving of his hands and mimicking noises. He uses one arm to mimic Dugon, and the other hand to mimic the ship. The kids watch with wide eyes and open mouths. Gillian even makes Dugon a voice, somehow lower than his own. Gillian pretends to swoon. "And then Jay saved me from the Leviathan." The kids laugh, and Jay just smiles and shakes her head. "That never happened, Gil. I was asleep for the first part of the battle." Jay chuckles. "She saved me." Gillian leans over and kisses Jay on the cheek. She shot Dugan. The kids gasp and look over to Jay in amazement. You forgot about the Granbury pirates, they were also there. Jay mutters, blushing and clearly trying to get some of the attention off of her. Yes. Of course. My dear friend Caspin shot it with a cannon. And Chip's sister, Lizzie, shot it with a magic gun. Gillian smiles. I do not know how guns work. The kids laugh. Gillian keeps smiling as if it were a joke. He continues with the story, gesturing wildly. He gets to the part where he feeds Dugan the luxurious pearl, and Jay and Chip are not surprised to hear Gillian exaggerating that, too. And then I threw it into his mouth. Gillian shouts. And he slipped back into the sea. The kids gasp. Gillian's eating this all up, his tail wagging at every reaction. And then I rode the back of the Leviathan. Down into the sea we went. How did you survive? Elliot asks, their eyes wide. Through courage and skill. Gillian flexes, and the kids laugh. Gillian then glances at the sky. It's darker now. The sky is a navy blue, and stars show through the still purple clouds. Oh my, you have been here a long time. Why don't you go home now? I am sure the Riptide pirates, and I will be here tomorrow. Okay, Elliot says, standing up. The other kids stand up with him. Goodbye. Gillian waves as the kids leave. The kids wave back, then turn to each other to chatter. All right, enough exaggerating for you, Gil. Chip chuckles, standing up and pulling Gillian to his feet. Gillian squeezes both his and Jay's hands lovingly and laughs. What can I say? I am a champion.